and gentlemen, please stay tuned for a live television first as we attempt to commune with the devil.
First of all, I want to talk about this line in which Christus says that Halloween masks were made to keep evil spirits away from people. But for you as an actor, how does it feel to wear several masks to embody all your different characters?
One of the great gifts of my work as an actor is I get to, put on these different masks, and I get to become these different people, and I get to look at the world through a different viewpoint every time I take on a new role. It's a real gift for which I'm incredibly grateful. The danger comes sometimes when it's easier for me to live inside of the mask and be able to hide from reality and live in a space that distances me from David and what David needs to be dealing with or what David should be thinking about, because I get the benefit of putting this mask on every day. For me, that was really the key to understanding Jack Delroy, because Jack Delroy puts on this mask every night in front of a live studio audience and a televised audience, and everybody sees this charming, funny, happy-go-lucky TV show host. But then you take off the mask and you go backstage and he's starting to really lose it. I've felt that way before. I know what that can feel like. So I wanted to bring that into the performance.
And talking about that, I love the nod to the horror classic Rosemary's Baby, because it shows that people can do anything for fame, whether you're an actor, a TV host, or an ordinary person. But as a performer, what is the scariest thing about being on stage or in front of the cameras that you'd say it's a feeling that won't go away even when you're already famous?
One of the scariest things for me has been the times, and it's rare, but there are times, because you're tricking your muscles, your body, your face, your voice, your brain into believing a given set of circumstances that are completely fake. You're on the deck of a boat fighting Dracula. You're on the set of a TV show watching a demon float. Whatever the thing is, there has been a few moments when my body and my mind slip into the belief that what is happening is really happening. And that's been the scariest for me, because then my body and my brain go into shock. And I have had a couple of instances as an actor where I've kind of left my body, almost like disassociation. And I work very hard to develop the tools and the techniques as an actor so that I don't do that, because that's not what I want to happen.
And something that I really liked about this movie is that it makes a satire about how people can stop watching something in spite of being witness to something violent, horrific, or even phony.
Yeah.
Was there a time where you couldn't look away from a movie because you were really impressed, just like the viewers of Night Owls?
The first time I saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I remember feeling like this is something I shouldn't be watching. This feels too real. This feels too authentic. And I had a hard time looking away because it was so well done. I felt the same way when I first saw John McNaughton's film, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. I remember thinking, this is like a documentary, but there's murder and horror. And I was like, oh my God. But it was so well done, and Michael Rooker was so brilliant in the performance. I kind of couldn't stop watching.
Yeah. And this movie portrays demonic possessions, but I feel like you've always been a part of dark and spooky stories, because you've also worked on projects like Prisoners and Twin Peaks. But what do you think is what draws you to this genre and type of characters?
Ever since I was a little boy, I've always been terrified of the darkness and the mystery of the things that fill us with fear. I've had so much fear since I was a little boy. Fear of, oh my gosh, religious punishment, fear of being alone, fear of the dark. And so I think with telling stories about the monsters that live within us, as well as the monsters out in the world and the things that lurk in the shadows that scare us, maybe it's a way that I can confront that fear and find out who else out there shares that fear with me. So maybe we feel a little bit less alone in the world.
Right. Thank you so much for having me. It was
Thank
really
you.
nice talking to you.